Hey everybody, welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this this is my reality. So I've been if you've been watching my videos the past week or so, I've been telling you I have me and my strawberry milk. Child, it's so good. The problem is I made the strawberry cheesecake and the strawberries with the sugar, I put it inside my milk. And now my milk don't want to come through the straw because the strawberries want to. You know what I mean? Okay. Turn the fan off. So today I'm going to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about Young Miami. This young lady is a quite curious character. She was dating P. Diddy, better known as Shitty Diddy, Shitty Combs, Diddy Combs. Like, I don't like him with all the allegations that he had or has rather. It's like lawsuit after lawsuit. I think they're up to like 9 or 10 at this point. And the reason I'm doing this video on this Young Miami lady is because, one, I never heard of her. But again, like I told you guys, I started my YouTube in March. It is August. So I've been doing this a very long time. So I'm learning, because honestly, when I started my YouTube, I thought I just wanted to really kind of talk about reality TV, right? Hence Chanel's reality, right? So it would be reality TV according to Chanel, who's me. And what I learned very quickly is that there's a lot that I learned, but in a nutshell, reality, one, I don't want to watch all of reality TV, and it's not all created equal. And so since I'm not going to want to watch all reality TV, for me, it wouldn't be enough content. So I want to watch the shows I want to watch, and I review the shows I want to review. Plus, you have a life outside of YouTube, be very clear. So, you need time for work and your family and anything out, extracurricular things. And I love a vacation. I already told y'all. I made for 5-star hotels and room service. But the Rona has knocked me down. So I haven't been able to be as active. And so anyway, what I learned is, since I'm not going to review every single reality TV show out there, because in my opinion, it's not worth it. Like I said, they're not all created equal. Plus, you got to review the content. You got to review the content. You got to know what you're talking about. And then you got to, in my opinion, be interested in it. And for me, I'm just an intelligent person. So there's only so much reality TV I can really, take in before I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And so the ones I like, for the most part, are the Real Housewives of wherever. And I don't review all of them. I typically review Beverly Hills, Atlanta. I used to review New Jersey, but I just feel like New Jersey, Teresa and Melissa, they are who they are. Anyways, it just, to me, there's just a smaller sector that I'm willing to review. So we'll see. So what happened is I realized I gotta consume some other type of content. So that other content is more or less celebrity news and things like that. So that's why I didn't know who Young Miami is. I'm older. So I've never heard a Young Miami song. However, what I do know is that she has been dating Shitty Diddy, P. Combs. What's his name? P. Diddy? P. Diddy? Him? Sean Puffy Combs, Sean John Combs, whatever his name is, right? He has been in he created a record label called Bad Boy Entertainment many, many years ago in the 90s. And he had artists such as Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Notorious B.I.G. I'm trying to think of some other artists that he had on his label. But he had really good artists, the ones that he did put out. One of the artists that brings us really all the way down to Young Miami is Cassie. And when I was younger, I heard Cassie. It seemed like she had one CD, and that's how old I am. We had CDs. But she had one album that she put out. And then I never really heard anything else about her. I would hear him say her name every once in a while. So fast forward to 2000 and what year are we in? 22. So the end of 2023, Cassie sued Diddy for a lot of egregious acts. Some being words we can't use here on YouTube. So words. Okay, so I'll try to be creative with the words that are in the lawsuit. So in the lawsuit, she basically, and I'm paraphrasing, is saying that he had sexual. He committed sexual acts with her that were not consensual constantly, and that he constantly had her under the influence of substances. Some of those substances included, from my understanding, the ones that intoxicate you and you may or may not remember, but you certainly can't consent under those type of substances that Cassie alleges Diddy gave her or forced her to use. And then also forced her into basically, so people say SEX, and then they use that word trafficking. Human trafficking, SEX trafficking is a form of human trafficking. Just understand. And actually, human trafficking is way more widespread than the SEX trafficking. So human trafficking is more of just forced labor. The sex, I can't use the word. Okay, so SEX trafficking is basically forced SEX, and you don't have any. It's against your will. So how does this tie into Young Miami? Young Miami, for the past few years, has been, from what I can understand, and let me say this before I really get started. Everything on Chanel's reality is, in my opinion, it's alleged, and it is in it's for entertainment purposes only. So everything that I say on here is alleged. Tomorrow is my birthday. I've been trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not going to make it unless you guys decide to share my video amongst the 500 of you. Then maybe I can get to 1,000. But my birthday is tomorrow, August 11th. I'm a queen over here. So even though I got the vid that's trying to hold me down, I made my own little cheesecake because I don't want to go out and spread the vid or the Rona to anyone. But I'm highly, 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 highly thinking I'm gonna go lock myself at the Zaza Hotel and have some entertainment. And then I'm gonna leave this country for a little bit, and I'll be back. Because I deserve it. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, I haven't figured out which island I'm gonna go to, but I'm leaving and I'm going to an island, and I will be back whenever I get back. So it is what it is. I deserve it. Been working hard and I deserve it. So that's what I'm gonna do when I get off of this with you guys. I'm gonna go pack my clothes and I'm deuces. So anyway, back to Young Miami. So the reason I'm doing this video on this young lady is because Young Miami has, from my understanding, from what I can understand from the copious amounts of articles about this young lady on the internet, she has been in a relationship with Shitty Diddy Combs, Sean Puffy, P. Diddy Daddy Combs. And so we're going to listen to a little bit of it. She did an interview with, so I don't know if you guys are familiar. I don't know if it's a YouTube channel. There's a company called Revolt. And Caresha, who I think is AKA Young Miami. I can't really tell because she talks back and forth in between Caresha and Young Miami. I'm not sure. But I think Young Miami is Caresha. That's my thought. Y'all can let me know in the comments. So she did I guess you could call it an exclusive kind of behind the scenes tell all of her side of the story of what's been going on with her relationship with P. Diddy. Because what's happened is Okay, so remember I was telling you about all the allegations against Sean Puffy Combs that Cassie made last year in her lawsuit in November. There's been like, I think, additional 10 or so lawsuits as a result, because in the state of New York, my understanding is, usually there's a statute of limitations on sex crimes for whatever stupid reason. To me, the reason is the laws were made by men. The majority of the sex crimes against women are done by men. And if you were the men making the what's the right word? Laws, right? Because there weren't any women in the room when they were making the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution of the United States. There were no women. We weren't there. We didn't have any rights, which is sidebar. It's interesting to me that people make it seem like women need men so desperately, and that's why we got to come up, and that's why we got to sue you, and we have a money grab. When if you think about it, if you go back into your history, our history in this country, the dark history of this country, and I'll just say the history of the world, men are the ones who said it was illegal for women to work. So it's illegal for me to work. It's illegal for me to own property. It's illegal for me to get a credit card circa 1980 or 1970 or whatever year it was that we still couldn't even get a credit card without our husband's permission and co-signing on it. Can't buy a house, can't buy property, none of that. Do your history. But you get on the internet, talking about how, oh, this is a money grab. Who stopped the money grab from the beginning? Go look at your history, sis. Her, Chanel, she's a smart one. She's no dummy. Be very clear. Very smart, very intelligent, and highly educated. So I know my history. I know the history of this country too. And as it relates to women, and as it relates to people of color, and as it relates to people who are in a subgroup that isn't a Caucasian one, they've made rules to make things difficult for people that look like me. It just is what it is. It's just a fact. Okay. So you're mad at me because I can't have the same equal footing as you, but you put me behind the 8 ball. So anyway, the statutes of limitations are in place to protect the perpetrators of said crime. What other crime do you know of where you basically can ruin someone's life or the remainder of their life? And when I say ruin, I mean there's variations of levels to the ruin. So it could ruin you emotionally, where you can't get it together because all you see is, this attack that happened to you when you were an adult. If you got attacked as an adult, and if it got attacked as a child, people not believing you, people shaming you, especially if you decide to come out later and say, this person attacked me in this heinous way. You come out and you say it, and it's like, oh, well, it happened when you were a child, or it happened when you were 17, or it happened when you were 23. Why didn't you say anything? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but suffice it to say that people don't say anything because of the amount of shame that people want to throw at them. And then the other bag that people want to throw at them, that it's a money grab. I don't need, first of all, let's stop exaggerating, and let's stop acting like women are so helpless that the only way we can get money, and especially millions of dollars, is if we submit to some man in marriage. Stop it. Knock it all the way the fuck off. Like completely off. Women are not helpless. We're not living in 1620. I don't need to come up. I don't need you and anyone else to do so. I need my own intelligence. I need my own drive. I need my own ambition. I need my own, smarts and go to school, my own college degrees, whatever it is, my own ideas. That's what I need to come up. I don't need you to come up. Be clear. So stop it. Stop it with the humiliating of a woman or any woman who didn't tell when something happened to her as a child. You gonna tell if somebody in the room talking about, okay, if you tell anybody, I'm a unalive you and your mama. And then let's not even get started on the mamas that don't even believe their children. The ones running around talking about R. Kelly didn't do it. No, Weinstein didn't do it. Epstein didn't. None of these people did it. You're the reason why your child ain't gonna tell you when something happens, because you're in the living room with your sisters who also are ignorant and blaming Cassie or whomever for why something happened to her. And you're so ignorant that you don't even realize when you say dumb shit like, oh, she did it for a money grab, that's speaking against your own best interests, sis. just get it together. This video ain't even about that. So let me move on. So like I said, Young Miami did this video. She did this interview with her bestie, who is a guy. And I ain't mad at her. You know, she did the video with someone she trusts. I think the video sounds like 2 ninth graders, if I'm being honest. This isn't me judging. This is just my observation of the video. Or the interview. The interview to me sounds like 2 ninth graders who think it's cute to constantly be like, yeah, girl. And so they think that's cute. That ain't cute to me, but you know, whatever. I'm not judging them. That's just not something I would do. And if I'm supposed to be being taken seriously, that's the reason that I wouldn't do that. If I'm hanging out with my girls and we laughing and we having some wine and, you know, whatever, or some drinks and we're talking and we're having a good time, that's one thing. When I'm trying to go on to a platform and talk about a very serious topic, which is my boyfriend, or I guess at this point, her ex-boyfriend, Sean Diddy Combs, who is being accused of very heinous crimes, I'm probably going to put on a nice dress. I'm probably going to get my hair done, got my makeup sitting on fleek, and I'm going to be serious when I talk about such a serious topic as being intertwined with this person who seems to be a monster, for lack of a better word. There isn't a better word for what he's being accused of. That's monster territory, in my opinion. So I'm going to be serious. I'm not going to be like, girl, yeah, this, that, no. Time out for that. If you want to have that type of, what's the right word? Ambiance or manners or tone in your talk with your friend, don't let it be with such a serious subject matter. Young Miami, if you ever see this, I'm gonna just say this because I don't know this young lady and I'm not here to judge her, but I am gonna say excuse me, I told y'all the Rona got me down. Take a drink of this. Right. Child. I noticed in this video she said she had children. Excuse me. And for your girl, I know she said she had a daughter. Try being serious about things that are serious. I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. Give me 1 second. All right, let me let you guys listen to what she said, and we'll get back. We'll come back and talk.
Back with season 2 of Caresha, please. But this episode is a special edition, and I told myself that I wasn't going to be strategic or try to find the right words to say, that I wanted to tell my truth, my story on my platform where I feel safe, and I'm ready to get into all the smoke. Clock that T. Bitch, catch you. So I have the one and only, my best friend, Saucy Santana.
I'm here. We get into all things Caresha. I want to call this episode Caresha Speaks.
Oh.
Because I feel like you don't talk much. I feel like you let a lot of stuff just, roll over. You'll talk amongst me and you and amongst close ones, but I don't really feel like you address everything. And so today I want you to take this time to put everything on the floor, get it all out, because once you talk today, nobody's gonna hear from you till 2028, baby.
Thank you.
So I want you to say today and let everything out, get everything off your chest, and we're gonna get into it.
Let's go. I'm ready.
So I want to get into mental health with you. I feel like I just want to check on, and I feel like everybody wants to know just these days, how are you? Just in general with life, your kids, family, and just with your career? Like, where are you at mentally?
I'm just all over the place.
Mhm.
You know, I'm going through a lot, and some days I just be like, everybody go through this in their career and in life. I feel like in life, everybody go through something, whether it's a breakup, a divorce, a death, just like whatever it is. And I feel like
Let it out. This is a safe space. This is your space to be vulnerable and just really, let out how you feel.
so mentally, like 1 minute I'm happy, 1 minute I'm sad, 1 minute I'm feeling like fuck this shit. And then the next minute.
So I do like that he started with the mental health component. However, I do think it's important, if you're going to talk about mental health, to have a expert on mental health to talk about that. And I get that she's letting or allowing her interview to be done with her friend. But again, this is a serious topic. And that's why I said before, if this is what you want to present to the world about something that is super serious, meaning the guy that she's going to talk about, P. Diddy, Shitty Diddy, her ex-boyfriend or current boyfriend, or I don't know what the status of their relationship is, and you're titling it, her reclaiming her voice, and you're starting with mental illness or mental health, let me say it like that, because I'm not saying she has a mental illness, but her mental wellness, if that's what you're going to start with, then I just think it would be appropriate to have a person who is an expert in that field kind of talk to her about that, even if that was a segment that you guys did and then you just added it into this interview and to this video. And so that way people can fully understand it. But I read some of the comments after, and the people that were commenting, they all seemed like they were under the age of, I would say, 19 or younger, the way that their responses were to this video. But I do think that it was an appropriate place to start. Take note of when she starts crying, someone hands her a tissue. And what was just very interesting to me is that she takes the tissue, but she doesn't wipe her face initially. It seems like it takes her a minute. And what I got from that was, I'm not saying her feelings and her emotions aren't real. I'm saying it seems as though it's being used very intentionally and very specifically to promote a certain vibe, which is I'm super emotional. I'm crying about what is happening to me as a result of who I am in a relationship with. I just found it very interesting. It's kind of adjacent to, if you guys watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Erica Girardi, her husband, there's a whole long story about that. So if you know, you know. But basically, when she was crying, a person who always is beat to death, meaning her makeup, her hair, her body, everything is always together. And she's crying, and suddenly, she has all this black mascara coming down her face. She isn't wiping her tears. And you can't tell me that, especially I'm looking right here. You got all these eyeballs watching. Y'all have a whole, what looks like a set. Nobody on this set with your production team has tissues that would say, hey, wipe your face because you still want to look beautiful. You know what I mean? It just, to me, it gave, I don't know if this is 100% genuine or if this is a tactic. And I'm not judging her. I'm just telling you what I saw. So you guys take a look and y'all tell me what y'all see. And I'll be back.
I'm looking at my kids and I'm like,
girl, wait until you see this shade.
Unreal. It's a perfect
match for you. I have to blend.
Sorry, guys. We have ads. So I gotta wait till the ad's over. So
I ain't bring us this far to go backwards.
Yeah.
So there's,
I work hard.
I don't even
You
think she
get me
wants
saying,
to
like,
maybe
I put in a lot of time and effort in this shit. I did it when I was pregnant alone. And I feel like in life, you got to go through shit to get through shit. Like Usher said it, and I was like, wow, that's some real shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like in life, everybody is going through something. whether it's a divorce, whether it's a death, whether it's they just lost their job, just anything. And that's what keep me going, because I know that like life not perfect and we gotta learn from our mistakes, and life is a lesson. And I feel like the people that I thought that would be in my corner, or that are like, when I was going through this shit, nobody called me to check on me. Nobody called me to see how I was doing. Like, people was really like, you thought.
Yeah. So when it comes to Diddy, why do you think that you are so heavily involved in everything? Like everything that comes out about him, like you said, it's automatically, well, what you think? Well, how you feel? What you got to say?
Because people feel like I was Diddy's biggest cheerleader and I made him my brand. And I feel like Diddy was on brand for me. I got with Diddy and brought him into my life. I had him at the office. I was still doing Rich Roulette in the split. All right on. Ari slapping my ass. I ain't never think I was bigger than the program. I was still on my City Girl shit. I was still doing remixes. Don't play with it.
You did Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane.
First Impression.
I was still working. City Girls was on tour with Jack Harlow. We had At Bad. You know, Diddy came to me with the song. Told JT, let's get on this record. Like, I was still doing City Girls shit. I was heavily involved in the group. I never thought I was bigger than the program.
So with Diddy, what was your experience with dating him? Because I feel like in the headlines, it's a lot of just chaos and it's a lot of allegations. And so I think that's what makes people feel like, well, since you were so heavily involved, you were a part of these things, or you were around these things. So what was your experience like, dating him?
Well, I met Diddy at P Party, and I met him when he was in a love era. And I met Diddy when the world was celebrating him and giving him his flowers while he was alive. Like he was getting the Global Icon Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award, the Key to the City. He had a new album that was coming out. So I was celebrating him with the world. And I just feel like everybody trying to crucify me for it. Like, you was his biggest advocate. You was his cheerleader, but I was just celebrating when the world was celebrating him. So why am I being crucified, or why am I being separated?
Yeah.
When I was dating him, it was love, love, love. The frequency is how we used to laugh. Because that's like him saying, it's always, what's up, queen?
Yes.
So I just felt like I met him like in a whole new era, and that wasn't my experience. Like, when I met him, it was just like, I told y'all on season 1, I even asked him, like, why you fucking with me? Why you fucking with a city girl?
Yeah.
Why you coming into my world? Because...
What do y'all think about that? Is it just me? Did y'all notice the crying? And her not wiping her face immediately? Is it just me? Or am I crazy? And then Young Miami says something to the effect of like, I met him while the world was celebrating him. So basically, why would I not be celebrating him? And here's the thing. I don't blame this young lady for going out here and chasing her dream. What's the right word? Finding a person who she felt like or feels like could really raise her bar, raise her visibility, give her an opportunity to be in rooms with people that can make her pop, her and her city girls and whatnot. I don't blame her for doing that. That's a million girls out there. That's a million young kids out there. That's a million young boys out there. A million people, billions of people on this planet. We're all taught. There's 8 billion of us. We're all brought up and taught to reach for the stars. And if you're not taught that, then your parents are probably not maybe the greatest. But generally speaking, your parents want you to be a success story, whatever that might be, because then it looks good on them. It's no different than think about it like this. If you want to use the music industry or the entertainment industry, whenever they put out a pop star or a new rapper or new songstress, a new whatever, fill in the blank, they want that person to pop. They want that person to be the next Adele, the next Beyonce, the next Jay-Z, the next Mary J. Blige, the next Taylor Swift, and whatever genre of music or entertainment. If you're going to train an Olympian, you want them to be the greatest. You want them to be Simone Vows, you want them to have all the gold medalists. You want them to be the most decorated whatever. You want their music to sell 5 million records. You want them to have the #1 seed and get 5 Grammys. It's what you want. If your child is a football player, you want them to have the Super Bowl ring, right? You want them to win a NBA trophy. Nobody should ever teach their children to aspire to the bottom. So that's why I say I'm not mad at her for reaching for the stars. And at the time, at least to my knowledge, this P. Diddy, Shitty Diddy guy was a mogul in the music industry. So if I'm in his hemisphere, if I'm thinking like her, probably most of the people who want to be her or be in a situation that she found herself in, then yeah, I'm gonna go ride with this dude. And maybe some people told her some stuff and maybe they didn't. I didn't know. So I can't say this young lady knew all of, his bad behavior prior. I can't say she knew all of that. We all did know that he named his record label Bad Boy Entertainment. Might be a clue. But I'm joking about that. But sincerely, all that glitters isn't gold. But if she didn't know no different than I didn't know, then why would she be thinking negatively of this man? If she doesn't have any information that's saying anything that's alerting her to it. I'm 20 years her senior, at least. Well, I don't know how old she is. I'm assuming she's like early 20s. So I'm 20 years her senior, and I didn't know until I knew. There were a lot of people that knew. I call those people gatekeepers, just like all of the people that knew about R. Kelly. Now I knew about R. Kelly because there were scandals about R. Kelly, but it was out here in the zeitgeist. And he was still protected. How many more albums did he make after he married 15-year-old Aaliyah? That's what you call industry protection. They protected him. The thing with Diddy is he was doing all kinds of egregious things, allegedly, according to those lawsuits, right? But somehow, there were no sex tapes that I knew about. There were no underage marriages that I knew about connected to his name. There were no freak-offs, quote unquote, substance abuse parties that I knew about. So if I'm 40 years old and I don't know about it, and a few years ago when she met him or whatever the case may be, she didn't know about it. She's, I'm sure at the time, 18, 19 years old? I'm expecting an 18 or 19-year-old to know more than a 40-year-old. But I do have a feeling that I'm certain, I feel very confident to say it like that when you are in that industry, there are things you're going to hear and see. Whether or not you believe those things is a whole nother subject. But I do think that there probably was something she heard or saw. That if you don't see with your own eyes what you heard, it's probably going to be like, well, that's just industry fodder. No matter what job you at, right? You go to a job, somebody says, oh, well, our boss's boss is sleeping with the secretary or whatever the case may be. You might be like, well, I don't know, because I ain't never seen that. That's seeming to me, that's what she's resting on in this video, in this interview. She's resting on, I ain't never see that. Everybody that I know around the office, if we're going to use regular people, they, you know what I'm saying? I never saw her go to dinner with him. I never saw anything inappropriate. So everybody liked the secretary and everybody liked our boss's boss's boss. So what reason would I have to think anything of it? Right? However, if she sees him standing a little too close, touching, massaging her, might be a little bit inappropriate stuff going on. Just saying. And she saw those things, but then didn't think anything of it, didn't push anything past it or whatever. It is what it is. But then if 3 or 4 months down the line, or let's say a year later, in her case, maybe 2 years later, 3 years later, I don't know how long she's been dealing with Diddy, but let's say 2-3 years later, she's after her seeing the massaging and him touching her or whoever with the secretary, then all of a sudden this lady doesn't work here anymore. And she's filing a lawsuit against the boss's boss's boss. He's saying, I'm going to save my family and protect my family against these egregious lies made against me and this, that, and the third. her career has skyrocketed in that office setting or whatever. So she's moved from being a project manager maybe to a director position. Maybe she's 3 bumps up. Her career is flourishing. And now that boss and her are getting a little close and they in a relationship that maybe everyone knows about at this point. Maybe they even got engaged. If I'm in love with this man and he hasn't shown me those things, then how will I know? Now, I could have seen some things, like I said, with the secretary or whomever. And at this point, if she's being sued, if my then boyfriend is being sued by this lady, I'm not saying, I'll say for someone like me, that would give me pause because I'm not going to not remember where I started at in this company and what I saw. That's what's going to roll like a Rolodex right to the front of my mind immediately. And I'm going to ask him. What I didn't get in this interview that she did at Revolt is that she asked him anything. For me, that's the problem. That's problematic. You don't want to know? The whole entire world is saying that this man is a monster, Young Miami. You don't want to know? You watch a video, because I find it hard to believe. I'm not going to say she watched the video, but I find it hard to believe that she didn't even see a still, because I don't watch videos like that, because I think it's egregious. I don't like stuff like that. But, so I never watched the video, but I've seen stills of the video where you can see it doesn't show you kicking her, but you can see he's about to. So I've watched stills, or I've seen a picture of where she's crouched down in the floor in the hallway. Once you see even those still pictures, you don't have a problem with him? Who the hell cares about who was celebrating him 2 years ago? What the fuck is going on right now? Young Miami, come to the front, sis. You could have used this opportunity to say, you know what? He is not the person that I knew in my relationship with him, was not what we saw with CNN with Cassie. That isn't who I saw. If that's in fact true for her, and I can't say what's true for her, I highly doubt it, but I can't say that that's truth. What makes me think it's not truth is because he's a liar. That much I know for sure, 100%. I don't have to say allegedly. He's a liar. He got on to his Instagram or social media and basically said he's going to protect his family from these egregious money hungry, and I'm paraphrasing, money grab type people when Cassie sued him. And the truth is going to come out in this, that, and the third. And he never did none of this stuff that people are saying. And then they show the CNN video, and obviously we all know the rest. So you still rocking with him? You still putting you still going to the, I don't know if it was the Grammys or wherever she was, talk about love you, Pappy, or whatever, Poppy, or whatever she put on that little thing. That's what we still riding with him? We're going to ride it out. Now, the social worker in me, the therapist in me says, there are situations, and many of them, where you're in an abusive relationship, where someone is abusing you in every category. So emotionally, financially, physically, and all the other categories, right? Sexually, whatever, right? But you're that star. Tina Turner comes to mind. Cassie comes to mind in the sense that every photo of them, Cassie and Diddy, that the public was showing, beautiful. She looks gorgeous. You can't get ugly nowhere on that lady. Not one area of her body or her face. You can't get it. Just is what it is. So why would anyone believe, even if she said it when she was, during the times that we saw those photos, she was allegedly in a relationship with this man. I wouldn't call it a relationship. I would call it kidnapping, some level of trafficking, every level of trafficking, in my opinion, based on her lawsuit. So even though she's this captive, in my opinion, she's still presenting to the world with him, still protecting, because she's scared, I'm certain, frightened within the inch of her life, what she's enduring with this idiot. So she's still presenting to the world, beautiful face, body for days, just is what it is. So I say that to say that could be young Miami. Could be, probably is. I'm gonna go with that. Probably is. So if that's the case, sis is probably scared. She has to go out there and represent. And this is the thing, young Miami, if you watch this, which I highly doubt, but if you do, someone sends it to you. It isn't too late to jump the ship and say, listen, I was scared about what was going to happen to my career. Selfish all day long, but human. Stop me if I'm lying about something. We all selfishly want to keep our jobs. And probably some of us will do whatever we need to do so. You can judge and whatever it is, but I ain't lying. People make all kinds of moves to keep their job. Because they got a family, because they got to, provide for themselves. Maybe they got a mom who's sick, whatever the reason is. Or even they have none of those things. They just like dollar bills, whatever it is. People have their motives. Her motive, in my opinion, is to not become a burning flame that flames out. She felt like because Diddy probably told her, I've been having these allegations against me for 20 plus years and I'm still sitting on top. You ain't got nothing to worry about. That's Avenue A, right? Delusional, but this man has been getting away with whatever for 20 plus years on some level, right? What reason does he have to think anything other? If he's been having, based on some of the interviews that his old bodyguards have done, saying the things that they've seen or witnessed, if any of that stuff is true, and if any of the things that are true and any of the mounting lawsuits are true, which I believe because he said out of his mouth, he's sorry about what he did to Cassie and how it was a dark time for him, so on and so forth, and I'm paraphrasing. We saw what he did to Cassie on video and then allegedly paid $55,000 or however much to hide it. But if he's been hiding in plain sight, which is what I think, all of these years and getting away with all kinds of, in my opinion, evil, he'll have no reason to tell her otherwise. But let's just say she never saw any part of him in that way. She never saw him in that light. He never abused her or whatever. Let's just say. If she's a decent human being, then maybe she believes him. Most people, I'll say, the people that I know that have, been in maybe not so savory relationships, you want to believe the person you with. You do. You do. So, because listen, we could watch a documentary about a family that a serial killer has had. And it's weird because it's like, how do you go out here and you unalive 30 women? But you the Boy Scout leader, the deacon in the church, and you got 3.5 kids at home. And your wife's a teacher. How does that happen? It happens. And so that's why I say I ain't judging her in that manner because people can live a double life. I don't think that's the case for Diddy, though. I think he was living a double life in terms of what he showed the public. And I think Young Miami did this video because she sees the writing on the walls and she sees that it's coming crashing down. And so to save herself and her image and whatever else, and I don't know that she has much of an image to save because if I'm not mistaken, she did some video with what's that man's name? Hollywood Unlocked guy. And she was like, I'm a whore. I'm really a whore with a W. So I think, she wants to keep that not so great image, that bad girl image. What a bad girl for a bad boy. Just saying. So, I'm not going to play any more of these people videos because it's their property and I don't want to infringe. So you guys can go. I think this was on Neighborhood Talk, but I found it on, I just typed in Young Miami and you'll see it pop up. in the Googler or wherever it is that you get your news. But I do think it's sad. I do think it's sad that she doesn't even see it. But she's young. I wonder how old. Let me see. I keep saying she's young. She better not be 25. Let me see. How old? Alexa, how old is Young Miami?
Joe Estevez is 78.
Alexa, stop. She can't really hear me. Alexa can't really hear me because I have the Rona got me beat down. Alexa, how old is Young Miami?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, Young Miami from City Girls is 28 years old.
Oh.
She is a hip-hop artist.
Alexa, stop. So I was very wrong. I thought she was like 22. No, sis is almost 30. So I take back. No, let me say. 28 is still relatively young, right? So no, I'm not 20 years her senior. I'm actually about 13 years older than her, roughly. So she's mature enough. She's old enough to know better. She got to make some different choices. She does say in this video that, you know, she was into prior relationships where violence was the case. And, you know, she said after she had her daughter, she didn't want that for her. And all I'm going to say is if you found that egregious and you found that that wasn't the life that you want, then you certainly shouldn't still be in a relationship with this guy. If that's the case, if that's true. And if that's true, then I find it difficult to believe that she didn't share that with Diddy. And when you share something like that with a person that has the type of behaviors that Diddy demonstrated in that video that CNN played of him brutally attacking Cassie, then he definitely used that against her. 1,000%, in my opinion, allegedly. 100%. Because that's what people who are evil do. They listen to you. And then they use your words against you. You go and you think this is a knight in shining armor and you believe the hype. It doesn't take long. But typically, people who brutally attack others usually aren't doing that to people who have a very strong personality. They usually aren't even because it's a grooming process typically. But that they're looking for people who have low self-esteem, who are quiet, who are to themselves, who parents are working, and so they by default are home alone more. So they have access. That's number one. And then two, maybe if you have low self-esteem, if you're not as attractive, if you're overweight. I'm not saying there aren't plenty of beautiful people who walk this earth who are in physically abusive relationships. I'm not saying that because there are. Because the abusers, they don't have a certain look. They don't have a certain income. They don't have a certain zip code. None of that. People that are evil like that and they choose to brutalize other people, they are the richest of the richest and the poorest of the poorest. And it doesn't have anything to do with the money grab. Because if it does, explain to me all the broke women who are dating the broke guys in the hood that are beating the brakes off of them. If it's about money. It's not. So stop it. So it doesn't have a certain education level. It doesn't have a certain, socioeconomic. It doesn't have any of those things. It doesn't have a certain race or age. If you walking around in the United States of America and you have a child that's probably over the age of 11, there is a chance if that child is going to school and has a boyfriend, that child is doing things that mommy doesn't know about or daddy doesn't know about. There's also a good chance, because I used to work with young adults, and we would talk about Chris Brown and Rihanna, and I always would ask, and they would always, every single session that I would do a group session of them, they would always take Chris Brown's side. It's a toxic conditioning that we have in this world, that we are conditioned to blame the woman. It just is what it is. Why did she stay? Why didn't she leave? Why she should have stayed. She wanted the glamour of life, this, that, and the third. Why are we putting a million labels on the woman that got beat up and absolutely none to the perpetrator? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, if you're this person, why do I go directly to the victim to blame the victim? Why I got 1,000 questions for the victim and almost none for the perpetrator. Shay says exactly, just like what addiction does, doesn't discriminate. But people do that. It just is what it is. And if you're that person, ask yourself, why is it that I want to know all these things, why the victim didn't do this, that, and the third, but I don't have not one question? I'm going to give all this due diligence and due process for the alleged perpetrator. So the Diddies of the world. I'm going to give them all that. We need to see. I got to wait and see in court. Okay. But we got 100 questions for Cassie. We got 100 questions for the person that's supposedly the victim or allegedly the victim or the claimant, the person that's making the lawsuit. We got 100 questions for her. Why she didn't tell? Is she lying? She just want to come up, this, that, and the third. Why you ain't asking any of those questions to P. Diddy? And why do you think still in 2024 that I need a man, no shade, but that women are so helpless and hopeless that the only way for us to do anything for ourselves is if we have a man to do it. And don't get it twisted and don't get in my comments talking about, oh, you're a man basher, this, that, and other. I'm not. I have a whole man at home, okay? Chanel's got a man at home. And I've been with him for almost 20 years. So please stop. But just like he can get it, so can you. I'll never be that girl, ever, that can't get it for herself. Not ever. She's not her. Let's be very clear. I'm not. Nor have I ever expected that. I've never thought to myself, I'm not going to make it if I don't have a man. Now, that being said, as the old married lady, I am a person who knows there are things that I do need a man for. And there are things that I do want a man for. Be very clear. She does. Okay. She has needs and she has wants. Okay. But this idea that I'm helpless and the only way for me to be a millionaire, the only way for me to ride around in my Mercedes or my G-Wagon is for me to go get it from a man. What happens when that man don't want me? What happens when I don't want his ass? Am I supposed to dry up and never have anything in life? Because no, stop it. Stop with the ignorant, stupid talk that women aren't worth anything unless they have a man, especially if you're a woman. It's so stupid. I can't with the ignorant comments. So don't get in my timeline or my comments saying any of the craziness because I'm not here for it. But I happily invite you to come and comment and give your opinion about it. You know, opinion about this interview, opinion about the person interviewing her, because I have some opinions about him. No shade, but I mean, this isn't the type of interview. If I'm an intelligent person who is really hurt by what I've learned about my boyfriend being what he's being accused of, this isn't the interview that I have lined up for myself. City girl or not, the interview I have lined up for myself is something that I want my kids to be like, you know what? My mom found out some egregious things because according to her, she didn't know. That isn't the relationship she had with Chitty Combs. So I'll give her that. Maybe it wasn't. Or maybe she's just scared of what could happen to her, which Diddy has a lot of, listen, in his orbit, there's a lot of people who are no longer with us. I'm going to say it like that. People that were entangled with him in some way. So I'm not going to shame her and make her feel bad, but I am going to say, well, if you decide to do another interview, if that happens, and it could happen, put on something to make you look like a serious human being that is really concerned about, even if it's his welfare. But I'm really concerned about, you know, my image, and that's who I was. And now I've seen these egregious acts that he's been accused of, and I just can't be with that person anymore. That wasn't my reality, but my conscience won't let me see what I saw on CNN, the tape that I saw where him dragging him down the hall and stuff. I can't be with this person anymore. I can't hide behind him. I can't let him hide behind me. That's what you say. Not, girl, yeah. No, I don't take you seriously when you do that. How can I? But I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people are not taking her seriously anyways because of all of the things she's already said and done. I don't know. And maybe she doesn't care. So either one of two things have happened. Either the people that handle her told her this is what she needs to do, and this is her response to saying something about it. Because she never says, I'm disappointed in him, what he's being accused of. We had a conversation about everything. That never happened that I saw. Unless there's some extended version, I didn't see that. So that lets me know that whoever her people are, or the powers that be, who really are the people in the background that know what real power is about. So either that's part of it, or they are still directing her steps, which is, you better not go out there and say nothing again. You better not say you had a conversation and this is what he said, because that's the road you don't want to go down, girl. That could have happened too. She could be scared, and that's why she isn't saying anything. I'm going to go with she probably scared, and that's why she ain't saying anything. That's what I'm going to go with. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get off of here because I need, listen, like I said, tomorrow's my birthday, so I need to go get my life together, okay? And figure out which island I want to go to, because I'm going. Please believe me. And I will see you guys later. Bye. Oh, thank you for tuning in to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. But if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you're old or new, please hit all of my buttons, the like button, the notification button, so you'll know when I come on. It is a free and easy way to support my channel. And I'm just trying to grow, slow but steady, wins the race. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys can hit that subscribe button and encourage your friends and family to hit that subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, enjoy your weekend. Bye, guys.